Hi everyone, NC Floor Guys here. Today I'm going to show you how to properly remove carpet and prep the subfloor for installation of your new flooring. Now I know what you're thinking. Tearing out carpet, that's no big deal. Just tear it out and throw it away. Well, basically yes, that's true. However, if you've got the right tools and you do things the right way, this job will go a lot smoother, be a lot faster and easier, and the subfloor preparation will be more thorough. So let's get started. The essential tools that you're going to need for this job are one, a steel floor scraper, a shingle remover, a flat bar, and a hammer. So we've got this section of carpet that we need to tear out and get rid of. The first thing you do is cut the carpet into manageable size strips. I like strips that are 5 or 6 feet wide. The reason we do that is because you don't want to try to pull out a huge piece of carpet as big as a room and then roll it up and then carry it out of the house and try to dispose of it. It's too big, it's too bulky, you're going to scrape all the walls, you're going to knock down all the furniture, and it's going to be almost impossible to get that waste to the dump. So what you want to do is cut it into nice, easy strips, like I've done here. Now, if a strip is in the field, like this first one, that is, you don't have any side edges against the wall, they're easy. Just pull up the end and roll it up in a nice tight ball. It's lightweight, it's easy to carry, easy to manage, and you can take that out to your car or your truck and get rid of it. Now this next piece is a little bit trickier because you've got two edges touching the wall. So start at the end, pull that up. Now here you want to pull out away from the wall because the back of that carpet is that thick, heavy Berber, and that will scratch your paint up terribly. Against the baseboard it's not so bad, but when it touches the paint on the wall, it will cause a lot of damage. So pull it away from the wall before you roll it up. Next comes your foam underlayment. You want to do it the same way. Pull it up and roll it into a tube the best you can. It's not as easy because the edges and sometimes the field areas are stapled down, so it doesn't come up in a nice clean sheet. But for the most part, you're normally able to get that out in a nice neat roll. So just roll it and pull it, and then we'll come back and clean up the scraps in a bit. With the remaining pad underlayment, you'll have strips of various sizes. Just do your best to pull those out in large pieces and roll them up best you can. You'll have a lot of little pieces that are stuck down with those staples. Just rip up the large pieces, as most of it that you can get to this way, and that'll make the scraping a little bit easier. Just pile it onto the nearest piece of foam and roll it all up at the end and take it away. Next, we're going to switch to the scraper. Now with the scraper, we're going to get all those staples out of the subfloor, and there are going to be thousands of them. So you want to take your time and be sure to get all those out. The reason that we use these tools with a long handle is to make the job easier. It reduces the stress on your back and knees and everything. It's less work and it's faster. So just take your time, be thorough, knock out all those staples. Some people might be tempted to say, hey, you can just take a hammer and bang those staples into the subfloor. However, you've got that little piece of foam stapled down along with the staple. And that you can't hammer out. So it's going to leave a bump and you're going to have like a lumpy, bumpy surface to try to put your flooring down over. It's not worth it. Just take your time, get all these staples out. Now as you go along, you're going to hit nails that were used to install the subflooring that have come loose or were never nailed down properly. And you'll have high nail heads. Or sometimes the subfloor is screwed down, you'll have high screw heads. So take your hammer around the room with you, and every time you hit one of those with the scraper, bang that down flush, because that will also cause a pain later when you're trying to install your flooring. So as you're scraping, go around and nail down all the nails and screws and make sure they're flush. Next, we're going to switch to the shingle scraper. Now, the shingle scraper is a fantastic tool for getting up those tack strips around the edge of the room. You just jam it under there and pop it up nice and neat. Doesn't cause any damage. It's easy to do and it's very quick. Warning, the tack strips are extremely sharp. You want to handle those by hand as little as possible. You can see after I pop them up off the floor, to get them out of the way, I use the shingle scraper. I don't reach down and grab those by hand, because the more I do that, the more likelihood there is of me stabbing myself in the finger. And you see how I step on it and kick it and break it in half? The reason I do that is because I want to bag all of that up at the end. So as soon as I get all these tack strips up, I want to get them out of the way. So I'm going to bag them up nice and neat so they're not all over the place. Because even if you just throw them in the back of your vehicle or your truck or whatever, if they're exposed and you brush your hand across of it, they will cut your hand like a razor. So you want to handle these with care. So after you finish that, you just give everything a good sweep and then bag it up. I've got a contractor trash bag here. I like to use these because you can just stuff them totally full with huge amounts of trash. Now again, you can see you've got all these tack strips in the middle of this pile. We got to get these into the trash bag, but you have to do it very carefully. Now you see I just lift one piece at a time and slowly toss it in there. I don't jam it in there or reach my hand all in there or grab a bunch of pieces at one time. So please be careful. You can also wear some protective gloves, and that will also help to mitigate the issue. But I don't really like to use those, so I'm just using my bare hands. You do it the way you like to. Here's just a close-up shot of that staple scraper in action. Just be thorough, go around all the edges and the corners and the field of the room. Get up all those staples. And also a close-up of the shingle remover in action. You can see it's got that cantilever on the back of it, which makes it real easy just to pry those out. You can clean up a lot of tack strip really quickly with this tool. You can see I'm pulling these off the wall, getting them out of the way, and I'm using the shingle remover again so I don't have to reach down and pick up those tack strips. Now there are going to be a lot of places on the job where you can't get to them with the shingle remover. In that case, you want to use your pry bar and your hammer to get in there and tap those out. Again, not touching those tack strips. And you put the pry bar right under the nail, give it a couple of taps, and it'll pop right out. After you have removed your tack strips, you're going to see there are a lot of these nails that were used to nail down the tack strip. Most of the time, they don't come out along with the tack strip. They're left in there. So you just take your pry bar and you go back and you pop these out. They come out real quick, but you're definitely going to need to get these out of the way. And that is pretty much it. Just carry along in that fashion until your subfloor is nice and clean and you're ready to begin your flooring installation. That's it for this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thanks a lot.